The morning sun rose over New Geneva, as it always did, casting golden light across the green hills of Ts-7. The colony was beautiful and alive. Children laughed in parks while parents headed to work. Farmers moved through fertile valleys. Scientists worked in laboratories. Teachers filled classrooms with lessons and stories. For the 10.3 million humans who called the moon home, it was just another ordinary day. Sarah Chen was walking her daughter to school when she noticed the shadows. At first she thought they were clouds drifting across the sky. Then she saw there, sharp, metallic, unnatural, ships. Hundreds of them. They spread overhead like a dark curtain, swallowing the sun. Mommy, what are those? Her daughter asked. Sarah didn't answer. She grabbed her daughter's hand and ran. Across the colony. Alarms screamed to life. People froze, staring upward at the massive warships hanging in the sky. Their hulls were dark green, edged like blades. On each one was a symbol every human recognized, the mark of the Valkyrie Dominion. The Valkyrie were ancient. For 10,000 years they had ruled their corner of space. Tall, scaled beings with yellow slit eyes, they considered themselves superior to all others. They sat on the concord of civilized species, the alliance that governed the galaxy. Humans, newcomers to interstellar travel for only 3 centuries, had never been accepted as equals. Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous, that was the excuse. In truth, the older species feared how quickly humanity adapted and spread. When humans settled New Geneva on T7, the Valkyrie claimed the moon as their territory. The Concorde did nothing, so the Valkyrie chose to act. Governor Marcus Webb watched the fleet surround his colony. 200 warships, weapons aimed at cities below. Communications were jammed. No ships could escape. He had spent 20 years building this world from dust. Now he could only watch it die. The screens flickered. Valkyrie commander appeared, dark. Scales, cold eyes. Humans of New Geneva, he said calmly. I am Commander Velos of the Valkyrie Dominion. You have built your nest in our territory. You have ignored our warnings. Today you will learn your place. Webb pleaded for negotiation, for mercy. Velos smiled without warmth. We know there are civilians, he replied. That is why we chose this colony. Soldiers die with honor. Civilians die with fear. The galaxy needs to see humans afraid. The broadcast shifted, showing every street, every school, every hospital. Webb realized with horror that this was not only transmitted to the colony, it was being shown across. The entire galaxy? The Valkyrie wanted an audience. The attack began without warning. Soldiers descended into the streets, tall and swift, weapons glowing green. They did not question. They did not capture. They killed. Sarah Chen hid in a basement with her daughter and dozens of others. The door exploded inward. Valkyrie stepped. Through smoke and rubble, he saw the terrified families huddled together. He raised his weapon. On Earth, in the United Human Assembly. Representatives watched in silence as the massacre unfolded live. Valkyrie troops moved door to door. Cities burned. Children ran from buildings only to be shot as they emerged. Commander. Velos narrated the slaughter as though it were sport. Watch closely, he said. This is what happens to species that forget their place. Admiral Yuki Tanaka stood at the back of the chamber. In 40 years of service, she had seen war, piracy, rebellion. She had never seen extermination broadcast for entertainment. The massacre lasted 6 hours. 10 million people were hunted, shot, burned. Around the galaxy, species watched. Some were horrified, some were entertained, some approved. The Concorde debated intervention and chose inaction. The Valkyrie were respected. Humans were outsiders. No one came. Governor Webb was kept alive to witness the end. When he was finally brought before Velos, broken and bloodstained, the commander asked if he had last words. You made a mistake, Webb said quietly. Velos laughed. Humanity was weak. alone, insignificant. Asterisk, you killed our children, Webb continued. You made the galaxy watch. You humiliated us. Could have destroyed us quietly. Instead, you united us. Every human saw this, and they will never forget. They will never forgive. For a moment, Velas's smile faded. The screen went black. Asterisk, in the silent assembly chamber on Earth, grief turned to something colder. Admiral Tanaka stepped forward. Asterisk, they wanted to teach us that we are weak, she said softly. They chose spectacle. They chose humiliation. They wanted the galaxy to laugh. Her voice hardened. They made a mistake. Asterisk, she requested. Full mobilization of humanity's resources, not defense, not protection, retaliation, complete and absolute. Asterisk, some argued for morality, for diplomacy, but the images of burning schools remained fresh in every mind. The final vote was unanimous. Asterisk, no. Mercy. No survivors. Asterisk, across human space, the decision was broadcast. Grief did not disappear, but it changed. It became patient, focused. Asterisk, shipyards on Mars began new designs. Factories on Europa shifted to weapons production. Laboratories on Earth developed technologies long forbidden by Concord law. Schools trained soldiers instead of artists. Trade halted. Diplomats withdrew. Humanity went silent. Asterisk, the Valkyrie celebrated. Commander Velos returned home a hero. Statues were raised. Songs were written. The Concord moved on to other concerns. Many believed the human problem was solved. They were wrong. Behind the silence, Earth transformed. Every nation, every colony, every citizen worked toward a single goal. Revenge, asterisk, within a year. Thousands of warships filled hidden docks. Weapons that violated 17 Concord conventions were built without hesitation. A shield stronger than Velkar designs. Engines faster. Guns deadlier. Humanity had spent 3 centuries studying alien technology because they had never been allowed to buy it. Now they perfected it. Asterisk, Admiral Tanaka stood in an underground command center beneath the mountains of Switzerland, reviewing plans not for defense but for extermination. Asterisk, the galaxy watched our children burn, she said. I do not care about their conventions. I care about results. Asterisk, factories that once built farming equipment now produced bombs. Laboratories that once cured disease engineered poisons. Art schools taught tactics. History lessons became strategy. Briefings. Asterisk, for 1 year, humanity said nothing. No threats, no speeches, no protests. They disappeared from galactic politics as if broken. The Valkyrie believed the silence meant surrender. In truth, it was preparation. Asterisk, on the anniversary of New Geneva's destruction. Admiral Tanaka stood on the bridge of her command ship and looked out at the stars. 1 year, she whispered. The fleets were ready. The soldiers were ready. Humanity was no longer the hopeful species that had once sought. Friendship among the stars. Something colder had taken its place. The clock had finished counting down.